Grandma DC here. Good morning. I slept pretty good last night. I always feel so much better when I sleep at night, and that's weird because I've been a night worker forever. This morning, I was thinking more about Christmas coming up. I know, I haven't even got to Halloween yet. Why am I thinking about Christmas? I think it's because, unfortunately, it's everywhere in the stores. While I was surfing the web, I found some recipes for cookies. Cookies are so hard to do on a ketogenic diet. They really are. I mean, you can make cookies healthy all day long. I mean, like good quality ingredients, less this, more that, all day long. But to make those low carb, almost impossible. But first thing I'm going to do this morning is make my own almond flour. I have a lot of nuts left over from when I was raw food dieting. And I have these We Got Nuts raw almonds. They've been in my freezer. And I'm going to grind up about a cup of them. I can't find my cup measure. How many of you always just use a regular cup? Now I know that this would be too much if it was full, so I'm not going to fill it all the way. But that's, yeah, there you go. That's about a cup. Maybe a little more. I don't know. And just to make my flour a little more interesting, and because I want to use up some of my flake coconut, I'm going to put a half a cup of my flake coconut in with it so we can have coconut almond flour, real coconut, real almond flour, as opposed to fake coconut and fake almond. Where do people get these real things at? I don't know. Done with this. I ran it for quite some time. I didn't want to turn it into butter. It's crumbly, coarse. I kind of like it. I think that might make for an interesting cookie. One of the hazards of washing your dishes with a garden hose is that occasionally the nozzle spins around and you get a bath. Yeah, that was fun. Moving right along. 2 cups coarsely ground almond coconut flour. Now, how many carbs are in this? A bunch. 30 total carbs per cup, that makes that 60. However, half of it's fiber. And so with the coconut, I'm going to call this at 40 carbs. Now remember, this is going to make a bunch of cookies. So you're not going to be eating all of this at once or even over a week period probably. And you're definitely not going to be eating it by yourself. Let's call all this nuttage right here 2 cups of coarsely ground coconut and almond, and I'm going to call it right at 40 net carbs. Someone else can argue with me down below. Feel free. That's okay. I'll agree with you because you're probably right. But that's what I'm calling this at, and I think that's quite a bit. Now I'm going to get my Isopure because it has 0 carbs, and I'm going to put 1 cup of it into this. 1 cup of the Isopure, and it's going in. There's our dry ingredients. I'm going to add, as usual, the baking powder. Almost forgot to tell you again, because a cookie won't raise without some baking powder. And not only am I going to put a slight teaspoon of baking powder, I'm going to put a teaspoon of baking soda. Now we're going to stir this all up. And I tell you, just for personal, I always like to have a little more fiber in my cookies and baking. And I'm going to put my half cup of my favorite psyllium husk fiber in here just for fun, just to make them good. Now, a little salt, and then we're going to put in 3/4 of a cup of stevia, 1 tablespoon of xylitol, and I'll be back. We're going to stir it up. Now I put a pinch of salt in here also, just because Grandma always said salt make things good. And I made a well in the middle here with the dry powdered ingredients. And I'm going to stick in 4 eggs. Thought you might get a kick out of this. Here's a regular large chicken egg, and here's my fresh Serrama eggs. Little bit of a difference. Takes like 3 Serrama eggs to make 1 regular chicken egg, and I'm going to use up some of my Serrama eggs. Why so much egg in this cookie, you're asking me? Because eggs make them stick together and rise, and when I get done, regular yolk, Serrama yolks. those the cutest little thing. They get nice and dark yellow when I feed them more greens. Okay. That was 4 whole yolks. And I ain't yoking. Oh, God, they just get worse. Now we need the good stuff. I am going to melt a 1/2 cup of butter and coconut oil mixed together. And I'm going to throw them in here. That came out to 2/3 of a cup. Close enough. Okay, if you think about it, cookies. Simple, simple. You do not need a recipe for cookies. Did I just say that? Oh no! Grandma Deesey, you did not say you don't need a recipe for cookies. Why? That's blasphemy. It's true. Think about it. Almost all your cookie recipes start with butter, eggs, sugar, cream together. I don't like to mess up any more bowls than I have to, so I put my eggs in the middle, my butter on top of them. I mix my sugar in with my flours because it's a dry ingredient. And I'm going to pour it in and stir it all up. That's your basic, flour, eggs and sugar. And then you add in some leavening agent. Then you add in flavorings, depending on what flavor you're going to want. Nice stiff cookie dough. Yay! I thought maybe I would have to add a little more of the isopure because it might be a little too loose, but it's just, I think this is going to be perfect. Look at that, especially when that psyllium fiber starts sucking it up. Oh yeah, that's just gorgeous. All right. What kind of cookies are these, you ask? Because so far they're pretty flavorless except for the nut flour. I'm going to make snickerdoodles. So to these I'm adding cinnamon. And my cinnamon is real cinnamon. I found out there's a difference between cinnamons. And this one is my pure medicinal good for you cinnamon. I ordered it off of Amazon. Amazon's going to have to sponsor me one of these days. And I love cinnamon. If you don't, leave it out. Put something else in here. But I'm going to put like 1/2 tablespoon. I thought I'd go with the whole tablespoon, but I thought this is pretty strong cinnamon. Oh yeah. Oh. Wowie wow, that's good. I'm going to leave that at that because I plan on rolling these in a xylitol stevia cinnamon mixture before we bake them. I'm going to take them out. I'm going to chill these in the refrigerator for a while, let them kind of firm up. I'm going to take them out, roll them into balls, and I'm going to roll them in a stevia xylitol cinnamon mixture. You can roll them in whatever kind of sweetener and cinnamon mixture you like. We're going to flatten them out, and we're going to bake them 375 for 10 minutes. That's your typical cookie baking time. And I just flattened them out, and this is my first dozen going in the oven. Ta-da! They are done. Now here's an interesting thing about these. I was thinking with all the nuts in them they were going to be like really heavy, but these things are like super light. And I'm going to taste it for the first time, and you don't know how much effort that was to get the camera ready and everything before I tasted them. Okay, not the best effort I've ever done. They're very light, they're very airy, they need more sweetener, and I think they need more cinnamon. Okay, if you're the type of person that likes a cookie that's not real sweet, you will probably really like these. They're lightly cinnamony. I don't really taste the almond. The almonds just doesn't have a lot of flavor to them. Maybe a hint of almond, a hint of cinnamon. They probably need more cinnamon. And I would use a little bit more stevia next time I make these. Otherwise, highly edible. These things could almost float. You know, you could probably put some cream cheese icing on these. Ooh, that'd help. Like or subscribe if you'd like to keep up with the insanity. And I love you all. Blessings. Have a beautiful holiday and a fantastic week. I gotta go back to work tonight. So I appreciate all your comments down below. And thank you for having my back when I forget something, because heavens knows I forget things. Love y'all. Bye-bye. It's good. Quit gnawing on the kitty. The worst part was it went up my nose. Oh, cleared my sinuses. Maybe Donald Trump ought to try that. Up your nose with a rubber hose. Or your garden hose. 30 total carbs. Excuse me, I just burped on camera. And I didn't even say I'm sorry. My camera's going back and forth. Why is it doing that? The shell out of there.